Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Garnet and Old, no inside info, no contacts, no problem. I am one half of your beloved hosts, Big Papa East, and that is Vincent Ciccarelli at VC Knoll, at Big Papa East. And we are brought to you by, these beautiful studios are brought to you by Captain Black's Fishing. If you are in the Panama City Beach area and you want to go on a charter fishing trip, which who wouldn't, Captain Black is your man. He's the one that gets it done. And if you happen to be going to Tallahassee and it's not a game day weekend, you're all out of the game day weekends for now. But what we're not out of is plenty of alcohol at the Palace Saloon. So if you're in Tallahassee and you need a place to watch some football or just have a good drink, pop on over to our other great partner, the Palace Saloon. A tradition unlike any other. Vince, how are you today?
I'm good, Ryan. Getting ready for the weekend. I was just telling you off air that I'm about to embark on a pretty lengthy time off of work. I'm not going back till December 2nd.
Tell the people context here.
Hold on.
People might be like, how is this possible?
Before you get to that, I also want to shout out Fishweir, because I've been back and forth with Fishweir, and we've been trying to coordinate. Our plan, Ryan, was to be at Fishweir Brewing tomorrow night, but because of all the move that you've got going on and all this other stuff, we couldn't make it work. But I want to shout them out because they've been a great sponsor of ours, and they've been we've been hosting shows there, live shows there, for years now, and we just could not get it to work out. And so I want to make sure I shout them out as well. Fishweir Brewing Company in Murray Hill in Jacksonville, Florida, owned by Noles. And it is completely dominated by Noles whenever there's a game going on. So if you're looking, if you live in the Northeast Florida area and you're looking for a place to watch the Noles, hopefully break the curse tomorrow night, Fishweir Brewing is a great place to do it. Okay, ask your question.
So many people don't get from today on until the end of the year off. Now, you don't have to give the nitty gritty, but
Sure.
From what I understand, Vince, you have leveraged your over decade at a company to slowly but surely every year ask for another day and another day of PTO and another day of PTO until finally you had enough where you just have enough at the end of the year to say, I'm going to take a month off. Is that accurate?
It's not quite accurate. I've been with the company I'm with for 16 years, and so I am at the top range of PTO availability. Plus, you're able to carry over 5 days per year. So I actually have an additional 5 days that I'm not even going to use, that I'm going to carry over to next year. And the reason why this happens like this is because as a dad, and my wife is a teacher, as a dad, I was always worried that, if the kids got sick or something would happen with the kids, that I wanted to make sure I had PTO available. If they're sick, they need to stay home or whatever. Because my wife, it's much more difficult for her. And so I would always sandbag these days, right, throughout the whole year. And then at the end of the year, I got to use them or lose them. And so, as the kids kids are older, they're out of the house, and now I work a lot from home too. So if you figure, Ryan, like in the old days, somebody coming over to the house to fix the garage door, you would have to take a half day off for work for that.
Or if you got sick.
Or if you got sick. But nowadays, sure, come and fix the garage door. I'm just going to work.
Yeah.
So you end up not using the days like you used to. And I don't work from home every day, but I work from home 3 days a week, roughly. And so what that ends up being, and I don't want to get the daggers from people, but what that ends up being is that, pretty much from October on, I have every Friday off. And then I am, just trying to burn days because I don't want to lose them. I counted today, I have 9 days left to work for the rest of the year.
I have more than that, but I will say...
everybody. Cheers, everybody.
not to rub it in, but I think to sum up Vince's story, I mean, this kind of beautifully sums it up from Breeze Fry. Vince is kind of a big deal.
No, I mean, I'm not a big deal. When you, that's funny. When you spend a long time at a company that, and I'll be honest with you, that just treats their employees right and they have good things in place, you tend to benefit from that. And so it's a mutual benefit. I do my best work and I get a benefit because of that. So it's the American dream, Mr. Breeze Fry.
I do have to shout out Breeze one more time. No need to acknowledge me. I'm 5 Elijah Craig's glasses deep.
Yeah.
My
So
man.
I was gonna. Yeah. So Breeze Fry. What are you drinking, Ryan?
I'm a wine drinker. You know that, Vince.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love a good Cabernet. And this is my favorite brand. It is Dreaming Tree Cabernet.
Mhm.
Now, this is Dave Matthews' wine brand. And it is excellent. It's mine and the wife's favorite one. And when we find it, it's not available everywhere. So when they get it in stock, we each do a bottle. So like I have my bottle in here, and this is my first glass. And by first glass, I mean half a bottle.
Yeah.
And then she's on her first glass. We'll polish it off together after I'm done with the show. And then I'll wake up with a headache and bitch tomorrow.
Yeah. So you haven't had a drink in 2 weeks, Ryan. Why
Yeah.
is that?
Honestly, just been really, really. You ever had one of those like you've been so busy after you're done moving? There's so many.
That's not what you told me before the show.
I'm gonna clarify the other part.
Yeah.
But for those of you, like when you move, the all you want is everything to be normal in your living area again. So you look and you're like every night you're like, I'm gonna put these 2 boxes away and I'm gonna rearrange how this is wired. And I'm a tech guy, so like, oh, I gotta mount this and I want to hide all the wires.
Hey.
And then I need to, oh no, that didn't quite look right. Let me move it over here instead. So it took a while to get to the point where we're mostly like we're 80% there right now, like stuff put away. And so this is the first night where I'm honestly like sat down and been like, hey, look, there's not a whole lot to get done other than the podcast after work. I'm gonna have a drink. Now the real reason is because in 21 days, Vince and I are going to be boarding our cruise ship. And what you don't want to do is get on a cruise ship after not drinking for a month, because the first day you go a little hard on those, my drink of choice, pineapple juice and Tito's, a few of those, and you'll wake up and you'll have a headache the rest of the time you're on the ship.
Yeah.
You have to prepare your body.
You do. You'd have to prep. I'm having a little Chattanooga whiskey 111 with St. Augustine Distillery old fashioned mix. It's delicious. And I was turned on to this, and I will just shout out the guys at the Noles 247. What's the on the bench? So Brendan Sinone, you talked about this, and I bought some, and I love it. So thank you.
That drink,
worked.
Vince,
yeah.
That drink, do you buy or Sinone it?
I buy this drink. Never met Brendan. Quirky dude, but I enjoy it. But that's what I'm having right now with a little Spear ice cube. Spear.
There's a really good pre-mixed old fashioned from Bullet Bourbon that they sell sealed, and you just pour it straight over your ice, and it's excellent. Look for it in your local ABC. It's Bullet Bourbon, which is one of my favorite bourbons.
Listen. These people are not sponsors.
I love Bullet Bourbon. But
speaking of sponsors, hey folks, thank you for tuning in tonight. Ryan and I are Johnny on the spot every Thursday night. Doesn't matter. We have to talk about next week, Ryan. But do me a favor, grab the YouTube link and show it. Send it on X, send it on Facebook, wherever you are doing your social media life. Get that out there, and of course, like and subscribe. My intent is to give some more memberships away this week. And so that should be coming as well. And I will just put our goal up here for now. Our goal every week is $100. Do we hit it every week? No. Do we hit it some weeks? Yes. But that's the law of averages over time. It helps keep the lights on. It helps Ryan and I continue to hopefully entertain you guys.
Now, after weeks and weeks of social pressure and bullying, I've moved my camera Um, just so you know, because when you have I have a 55-inch computer monitor, because that's what I do. And so when you have that, it's either you put it on top of it or to the left or the right. So what I did is, Vince, I have my PS5 sitting upwards next to my TV. And believe it or not, the camera wedge slides perfectly on the actual plastic of the PS5 down perfectly on the case. And I said, well, look at there. And so after weeks of bullying and pressure, I have a camera angle which is acceptable to Vince.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to dictate what you were going to do, but I will say that it looks much better than it did.
See, I wasn't lying. Bree says bullet premix in an orange bottle is delicious. Yes, it does come in an orange bottle. Well done. It is. It tastes like you mixed it, like you made it from scratch, Vince.
So listen, Breeze Fry's already in the game. Snacks is in the game. He has already he has already donated to the cause here. $5 toward our $100 goal. We're a long way away. We can get there. Speaking of, Ryan, before the night ends tonight, I want to make sure we talk about the newest promotion is not the right word. The newest endeavor for the Chiefs. Okay, so don't let me forget.
I will be sure not to. But this is a Florida State show. I know it's hard to believe, because the year's getting late. The results aren't exactly what we wanted, although, Vince, have you ever known me to be a little wishy-washy sometimes?
Yes, Ryan, you are a creature of the moment. That's kind of your nature. You will latch on to the emotion of what's going on at the time. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. If Florida State beats NC State in Florida, I actually will put my chips on keeping Mike Norvell.
I know you will. I already knew this was going to happen.
Because, and here's the reality: losses in the moment, one after the other, kicks to the nut. If you feel it in the moment, one win isn't enough to make up for anything. But then when you start getting on the opposite run of win-win, and then potentially it would be win-win-win-win, then the pain from the nut shots early in the season the stomach ache goes away, and you're not happy with the current state of, like, man, I'm going to be a little sore tomorrow, but you're not in agony because you have. If we were to go on this run, Vince, not NC State, I could care less about them, but I do want to beat them.
But you got to win a road game.
But if you beat Florida too, that's always endearing to me. I don't know about you, Vince. It's always endearing.
I love that. Yeah. I love when the Noles are raising the gator head. I love it.
Now, do I think it's likely that we win both of the next two games? And by the way, both of the next two games are what it would require for me to be a neutral guy, where I'm like, I could see him sticking around. I wouldn't be like, man, yeah, keep Mike forever. But I also wouldn't be like, this program is not serious about football. But if we lose either one of them, I'm still on the train of you got to make the move. But the problem is, if you win both of them, you have a chance to meet a lot of people's predictions for the year at the beginning of the year.
That's right. And that's what we talked about at the beginning of the season is, like, 8-4 is, 8-5 would be a monstrous improvement from last season. And it would be something, as far as the regular season is concerned, we talked about 8-4 being probably the most likely. But because of the way it happened and the teams that you lost to,
the order of operations.
Yes, and the fact that you lost on the road every time. Who you lose to and when those things happen in the sequence of it all absolutely matters to the psyche of the fan base. But in the end, if you were to ask me in August, hey Vince, if Florida State ends the season 8-4, I don't care about who you win or lose to.
It wouldn't be 8-4. It would be 7-7, and it would not be 8-4.
Sorry, 7-5. Right, you're right. Would you be happy with that? I'd be kind of like, I would be kind of like, 7-5. I would expect more of an 8-4. But 7-5, I get it because you have the chance to get the 8th win in the bowl game. But this is what we've been talking about, and I will tell you, Ryan, you're kind of inching more toward where I was, and I'm inching a little bit more toward you where you were, where I have to see better recruiting from this program. I have to see it. Because if they are not going to change that, it's not going to matter long term. I don't want to be a 7-5 program, 8-4 program, year in and year out. I don't want that. This program has too much cachet. It's got too many resources. It's got too much history to not dip its toe in 10-2, 11-1 undefeated seasons every third season or so.
What's funny about the 7-win mark, Vince, rewind. You guys are welcome to do it. Rewind to our prediction shows at the beginning of the year. I said, and you'll recall this clearly, Vince. I said if Florida State is 6-6,
I'm not recalling anything clearly right now.
I said if Florida State is 6-6 at the end of the year, Mike should and likely would be fired. That's what I said. And I said, if you make it a 7, you're on the fence.
Yeah.
He could be fired, but should he, it's not a definitive answer, is what I said. I said 6 wins, you're like, okay, 6 wins, you're one of one of what, 4 times in the last 35 years of Florida State football that's happened, and 3 of them are under you. So, but 7 wins after a 2-win season, it's one of those where the administration sits back and goes, okay, let's consider everything. Who's out there? Who's available?
That's important to consider.
What's the money like? What resources do we think we can give Mike while being responsible? Can we renegotiate his contract? So some people have ignored this. The ridiculous argument of, hey, will Mike Norvell renegotiate his contract if he's to be fired? Those are silly, right? But if they sit down with Mike and say, hey, listen, we're not all in. We're really, we're kind of putting out an olive branch here. So let's say the 7 wins happens. If you were to stay, we need you to renegotiate the structure of your deal. And if you're not interested in doing that, then we'll fire you and pay you what you are owed in your current deal. Mike would have then motivation to restructure his deal because no one wants to be fired because it's a bad look on your tenure. But if he were to renegotiate, Vince, a contract that is more aligned with what you've talked about in the past, with a lot of incentives in it to, like, if you reach a certain ACC title or level, but drastically reduce, drastically, $1 million or $2 million a year, your base, then I could see it being a potentially smart move at 7 wins to take a little discount, put that towards recruiting, and let's go. And I would have a conversation with Mike. Hey, Mike, clearly you don't have the recruiting guy on your staff right now. We need you to go get one. Replace someone on the staff, Papuchis, with a recruiting guy that can definitely do as good a job as a special teams coordinator than Papuchis has done. Go bring in a home run, like the guy that's only known for recruiting, okay? Let's stop squirting people with squirt guns on the field, and let's go get a recruiter. But that's out the window if they don't win both of them, in my opinion. No, I don't think there's any way he gets retained if he doesn't win out.
I don't know that I agree with you on that. It depends on how those games play out. A few weeks ago when they lost to Stanford, which, is just ridiculous.
Embarrassing.
I thought there was no way that it was just a matter of time.
Well, you also thought that there was no way that they win the games they just won at that moment.
Right. And so if there's one thing that's been true that we've seen it's played out, last year aside, last year was an anomaly in terms of a team not quitting. Like, this team this year did not quit. Like, they are bought in and they are continuing to fight, which
they're just not good enough.
I was wondering if that would be the case after they lost to Stanford, but week in and week out, they continue to show up. They're
Yeah,
just not good enough sometimes and
because of recruiting.
often. And they're also, from a coaching standpoint, they've really screwed the pooch in terms of situational stuff. But the team has not given up. It is coalesced off actually in a lot of ways. Hopefully, in enough ways to end up this season with 2 wins, starting with Friday night. Um, I'm not sure I have a lot of confidence in that win or either win, but I do know. I mean, if I think if you read between the lines, the deal is the administration, the athletic department does not want to make a move if they absolutely don't have to, for a number of different reasons. Obviously, you don't want to spend, you don't want to pay people to not do the
Yeah.
job. Secondly, like you said, the market isn't the best time to be looking for someone. And thirdly, they like him, and you can say that shouldn't matter, but have you ever worked with people you don't like? I think we all
Yeah.
have, and if you have someone that fits the culture, and you're just kind of tweaking how it all works over time to get it where it's gonna roll in an optimum way. Sometimes you have to have the patience to do that. I'm a patient person, Ryan. I am running out of patience. I'm running out of patience. I don't have the authority to make the decision. But if this recruiting, could care less about, I don't want to say I could care less, but if we win these 2 games, great. And I will be happy to beat the Wolfpack in the Piss Palace. And I will be happy to beat the Gators in Gainesville. But if they don't fix the recruiting thing, none of it matters.
None of it matters. And the irony of all this, Vince, and I want to see if you agree with this. I think it's more likely if Florida State loses to NC State that they fire them after NC State. Then, if they lose to Florida State, they lose to NC State and win against NC State. Sorry, I think it's more likely they lose against NC State and fire them after NC State than lose against NC State and fire them after Florida. And
Yeah.
I know that sounds odd, but you almost feel like they're on this edge and they're like, okay, Mike, let's see if you can give any indication at all that this is a consistent trend up again. The second that, because we've already seen it go south earlier, but if you go 1 win, 2 win, 3 win, 4, okay, that's a steady increase. But you almost get the feeling if there's any, again, that they're going to be like, oh, perfect, there's our moment, and you wouldn't be so far away from the end of the season where no one would be like, well, that's weird, you only have 1 week left in the season, so Dell coaches one more game as associate head coach. And it's not a huge deal, right? And then honestly, the results of the 4 game wouldn't be that big of it either way, win or lose, because you just fired your coach. So I actually think if they plan on keeping Mike, if they plan on it, regardless on if he loses against NC State, he wouldn't be fired this coming week. If they plan on firing him, I think they're waiting for one more loss, and they would fire him the next day after the NC State loss.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like if-then statements there, Ryan. It's like I'm writing code. Um, unless I'm starting to believe that unless these next 2 games are really, really embarrassments, he's coming back, even if we lose. And again, I go back to the things I said before. There's not an appetite to do it for the reasons that I stated. But unless there's embarrassment that comes along with those losses, and you can say we're already embarrassed. right? But a lot of these games this season have been, I don't want to coach speak this, but they have been right there for the taking, and they just
Don't do
haven't
that,
done it,
Vince.
and that is a coaching thing. That is absolutely true, and it's a talent thing, which goes back to coaching because of recruiting, and so I understand all that. But unless there's some kind of embarrassment that happens in the next two games, I don't think a move is on the horizon, which is very different than how I thought after the Stanford game.
I mean, maybe they have come to terms with. It's possible they've come to terms with, like, listen, the money's just not right. The candidate pool is just not right. There's too many openings out there. It's just too many. If you were making the diagram, right? Reasons to and reasons against. Now, one of the big reasons that's going to be circled and highlighted and underlined on the reasons to would be ticket sales, renewals, booster, and then so that's a heavy one. But then if you pile up contract, money owed, all the other things we just spent money on, no one available that we really want, and it starts going down the list. Well, then you can add up to. But I do think if he loses either one, we fire him. I mean, I do think that's what my gut tells me, not what my heart tells me. Because then you're like, okay, six wins isn't that miraculous to 2 wins because the 2 of the 6 were against.
No, don't do that.
FCS teams, or basically
don't do that.
One was
Every
FCS
school
one.
has those. Every school has those.
Yes, but if they were to get 6 wins, I guess it would. You would expect 8 wins. Is my opinion. 8 and 4 would be a good year if you include those wins.
Yes, that's what we talked about at the beginning of the season.
Right,
and
but
2 of these things did
opinion.
not. No, it's not. And David Coburn even said that many years ago. 6 wins is not enough. But if we can look at it, it's an upward trajectory, not steep enough. Again, I go back to you've got to fix the recruiting, whatever that means. And you can go back. If anybody has any contacts with Peter Collins or any of the people that make the decisions, we put together that show months ago, Ryan, about contracts that are focused on the program, not on the coach. I don't want to say the coach is irrelevant, but the coach is a piece of the puzzle. You have to have contracts that are focused on the program and the program's longevity. That is how that's how this thing moves forward, and that's how you are able to weather rough seasons with a coach where maybe you don't want to let him go, but then you're not giving him all of that money. You're taking that money and putting back into the program. That's where we need to be.
Well, also, I think head coaches are less important than they once were. The figurehead, the big names.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I think some people overblow that, saying like, "Oh, you go get anyone and just buy." Okay, well, no, clearly that's not right because clearly there's some coaches out there who consistently win. So there's some fascinating things happening in college football right now, and I do want to get to Captain Black. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I've heard from several people stating what a difference it is in home and away games. What could that be?
Spock eyebrow. What could that be?
Interesting though, Vince, is there's so much going on with the coaching searches right now across the country. There's things that we have no idea. Like everyone thought a week ago, 100%. Hey man, Lane Kiffin's going to Florida, right? Well, that was like a foregone conclusion last week.
It's Big Papa East till it ain't.
And then it's like, no, it's LSU now. And then Florida's going to interview the Tulane coach, and now they're not. And then over here you got Dabo Sweeney, Arkansas connections. you got Franklin to Virginia Tech, which, by the way, that I did see someone posted. I remember who earlier in their chat.
Daniel Gorby, I think.
And I've seen this consistently across all the message boards. What an embarrassment. Someone who Florida State clearly wanted. How do you know that? The insinuation that Florida State watched a candidate that they were all in on.
Sorry, that was Kenny Trill.
Yeah, the administration really just sat there and let Virginia Tech get Franklin if he didn't have clear interest in FSU. Well, yes, this assumption of the administration really just sat there only is frustrating if you think the administration wanted anything to do with Franklin. Because one thing that made it easy, if you sat back, for instance, as a bystander that doesn't know college football, and I showed you Franklin's record every single year at Penn State, and I said, are you surprised they fired him? Most people would say, yeah, consistently at 10 wins year after year, playoff first. The program's healthy, right? That's what people would say, outsiders from the Penn State program. But what they don't realize is that James Franklin's kind of an ass. And
I don't know him. I don't know him, so I don't know that.
From what you hear from their local beat and from our version of War Chant at Penn State kind of stuff, so he was real hard to deal with. And a whole lot of, very Jimbo Fisher, if you will, type person. And so when you have someone that's successful but doesn't quite reach the mountaintop, but is extremely unlikable, and you fire him, guess what? Other schools probably know what the reputation of that guy is and how hard he is to work with. Now, some schools like Virginia Tech, who are just happy to be here, and to get a big name that might generate some interest in a program, they're thrilled. But a big-time program who might have some, people talk in the world of college football and hear that, that guy was kind of an ass sometimes. You might not be interested in that guy, even if he's interested in you. So we have to weigh that in. Is we don't have any idea if Florida State had any interest at all in James Franklin at all. In fact, I think it would have been more likely that Florida State was talking to other candidates like Lane Kiffins and other people in the world than of James Franklin. If you're Florida State, try selling. We just got rid of a guy who was inconsistent and never could reach the pinnacle and didn't get us there. And but good news, guys. We got another guy who has won some, but has also not gotten to the top of the mountain. The only difference is Mike Norvell's likable.
Yeah.
And goes back to your argument, Vince, that it's easier to fire someone who's mildly successful, than to fire someone who's likable and
mildly successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I used to tell my kids all the time, one of the things you need to do is make sure you are a likable person. Like you are good with people. You are genuine. You are honest. You have integrity. You treat people with respect. Because in those times in your life when you fall flat on your face, because it's going to happen, because we're all human, you want to have the benefit of the doubt because the type of person you are, right? And I don't know that about James Franklin. I don't know about that, if he's an ass or whatever. But people say he's a huge upgrade with Mike. I would say from a recruiting standpoint, that seems to be the case. It seems to be he's a better recruiter than Mike. But the trade-off there is, do we want to have the same type of Jimbo deal where nobody that worked with Jimbo could stand him, right? That ultimately is not going to work out long term. I want to get to this again. I know you already put this up from Captain John Black. You've heard several people stating what the difference is in home and away games. I wonder what that could be. And then he followed that up with another super chat. Could it be we left someone at home? Who did we leave? Who are we leaving at home? Or who is being left at home every away game, as it seems to be over the last few years? I will let everybody ponder that. Not that that group is executing plays, but they execute the ambiance and the passion.
They wake up and they execute.
They execute.
So, Kenny, real quick, I just did a perplexity average that he recruits his ass off. I think he's meaning James Franklin. I just did an average, told me over the last 10 years, what is his average recruiting rankings, team rankings, composite? 14. Does that sound like anyone you know?
It's a little higher than Mike, probably.
A little bit.
Mike's probably in the 17, 18.
But is there that much difference between 14 and 17? Not really.
Not really.
So it's not like Franklin's had 8 straight top 5 recruiting classes. He's not that much different of a recruiter than Mike Norvell. In fact, Penn State fans have lamented for years that they feel like Penn State, based on their success and their wins, should have gotten better recruiting results. And that sounds familiar.
Post does.
Undefeated season, how did we not get a top 5 class coming off of that? So I don't think James Franklin gives you any kind of recruiting momentum. I don't think that James Franklin checks the box on a likable guy. And at the end of the day, what you would be selling is a stabilizer from a wins and losses perspective, but a guy that has never sniffed winning it all. Like, falls flat in his face on every big game that's possible. So could there have been interest? Sure, but I don't think you assume that there was.
I was never here nor there on him individually. There's really, to be honest with you, there's really no one out there that kind of sparks my interest to bring to Florida State.
Lane Kiffin would do it for me. And Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. But
would it be fun, Vince, if this whole time, like, he was screwing with LSU in Florida and, like, secretly us being silent, we've been, like, negotiating, like, all-time contract for Lane Kiffin, and it unlikely, but it'd be funny.
I will say that if there's one thing that has been frustrating on one side, but also refreshing on another side, is it seems to me that these other programs are, have leaks going on about stuff going on. And it seems like Florida State, like the administration, like that group, that small, tight-knit group, there's nothing coming out of there, man. So
about a lot of things.
If anybody says that they have the inside track on that, I think unless you are Peter Collins, Michael Alford, and the president, unless you're one of those 3 people, I don't think you have a clue.
Well, Garnet is going to tell you to keep your phones on you just in case at all times.
Keep your phones with you at all times. Something's going down at 10:45 tomorrow night.
And then tomorrow we'll say...
Probably me going to bed.
Plans change.
What plans never change every week is the goal that we have, Ryan. The goal is 100. We are inching toward it thanks to several of you sponsoring the show here with a super chat. How do you do that? You go over to YouTube. If you look down near the comments section, there's a very obvious $sign that you can super chat with. That ensures that your comment or your question or your something you want us to riff on will get read. Absolutely. We also make it a point to read all of our members, their comments. The member climb is going up, Ryan. Had several new members join last weekend after they realized that membership is different than subscription. So in case you didn't know that, subscribing, beautiful, do it. The more the merrier. That's how this all works. If you want to take it to another level, if you want to climb to another level, membership is the way to go with that. And there is a membership button as well in the same area that I mentioned.
Speaking about Garnet and Old, Vince, tell them a little bit about what we're going to do on Saturday.
Yeah,
it's not going to be a show.
Well, it's not going to be a show. We're probably going to go live briefly, right? We're probably going to do that because it's the right thing to do. But since Ryan has relocated to the Great White North in central Georgia, he is now close to Georgia Southern. And Georgia Southern is the university where my younger daughter is currently attending. She's a sophomore. Um, and we're going to be going to the Georgia Southern game tomorrow. And we're going to be
Saturday.
we're going right Saturday. We're going to be doing a Garnet and Old quick live stream from Georgia Southern on Saturday. We got a buddy of mine that I met through the show, actually, that hooked us up with some really great tickets to, apparently they have a beer garden. Ryan and I are going to be partaking in the beer garden, and we're going to be doing all of the things that you do at a game day for Georgia Southern at the prettiest little stadium in America. And I've got my Garnet and Gold Georgia Southern hat, which is custom made for me. And so be looking for that. Obviously, this is an away game week for the Noles. So there's no skull session. So there'll be no skull session to stream. Instead, you'll be in a little Garnet and Old action live from Statesboro, Georgia.
And I think it would be apropos while Vince appeared. Oh, you're unfrozen again. That in that live that we end up doing, that we talk about how we felt about whatever happens tomorrow night.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a quick recap of whatever occurs tomorrow, whether the curse has been lifted or broken, which we need to talk about the curse, Ryan.
I will talk about the curse real quick, though. Look at that. Captain Black. Ryan's shirt is fire. Yeah, I like this shirt.
While it's loose tonight with Captain John Black, which we appreciate. Yeah, that's an awesome shirt for sure.
Let's talk about the curse. So it's only a recent curse. It's not a long-term curse, which is good news. We just can't win on the road. And what I've noticed on all the road games since is a lack of intensity compared to the home games from all aspects.
Kind of a lethargy at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, they tend to be like it feels like last year's game, every game last year. It feels like DJ came back in the huddle and went all over again. So it almost feels like we're like slower in lining up, even getting delay of game calls, first play of the game. And it just feels like the intensity is not there. And I'm like, guys.
Yes, Ryan, look on the screen right now. Could it be we left someone behind?
Yes, we know. The Chiefs. But although they make a difference, these personalities just need to learn to lock in whether it's a home game or not and go out there and hit someone. And every away game I've seen, it's felt like it's kind of like a ho-hum going about our business, just showing up, just hanging around kind of game.
Hanging around. One of my favorites.
And that's what you early on should look for in this game tomorrow is in the first quarter. Do we even look remotely interested in being there? Because if we do, I think we beat NC State. If we show up and we play like the emotion, the feeling that we had in the last home game, where it's, hey, we might not be good enough, we might drop some balls, we might leave guys wide open. Deuce, I need you to catch more of these 50-50 balls.
The first time they hit your hand.
Yeah. Stop with the double bobble. But if you come out with that attitude and that motivation where it's clear that you want this, I think we can beat NC State. With Florida, even if you show up that way, it's a toss-up game. It's a rivalry game. Both teams are unpredictable week to week. They really are. Like Florida sometimes plays amazing against teams they have no business playing amazing against, and the next week they look like trash. So this is our last chance, in my opinion, where I do feel like you should be the favorite in this game based on going into it.
6.5 point favorites.
Like up until this point, the last couple games, I've been like, I wouldn't put them a favorite against Air. But after what I've seen from them showing up not quitting standpoint, which is what I thought would happen at some point in the last couple games.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So kudos to whatever they're doing, whatever. Maybe it's just the makeup of those individuals. But if you get that, I think we win the game. If you get any kind of Stanford feel, where it was like we're dead, just hanging out there, enjoying the weather, then I think NC State could win this game easily. It's one of those
Yeah,
games.
if you, man, if I were to hope for something, I would hope for the first time Florida State touches the ball to drive and score a touchdown on the first drive.
Yeah,
I think this team, um, if that doesn't happen, it takes too long for them to warm up to scoring. But in the games
yeah,
that they have started fast, and I think you could probably say this for a lot of teams, but um, they have the firepower to pretty much put up points against anybody. They do. But they're also very finicky in terms of like, if it doesn't start well, there's just this kind of malaise until somebody makes a play. So if I were going to wish for anything, it would be a wish for Florida State to score a touchdown on their first drive. I think if that happens, they win the game.
and this speaks to it. This is an opinion, but it doesn't come from the heart. But somehow, after 10 games, Florida State is 7th in total offense and 17th in scoring, at 27th in total defense, 29th in scoring defense. Which means, if you were to just look at that, Vince, if I just put that in front of you and say, Vince, end of the year, what would Florida State's record have been? You would probably say 9 wins at minimum.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
The problem is
But
it's in the wrong times.
yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately, these minutiae stats don't always equate to the big stat, which is wins and losses, because it's college football is so emotional and unpredictable, and you're dealing with all the nuances that come along with that. But yeah, if you looked at all the stats with the offense, especially, you wouldn't dream that they would have any game where they wouldn't score less than 28 points.
that's true. And who knows where NC State's head's at this week after getting curb stomped by Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Who's
Miami,
belly
who
aching about Notre Dame being ahead of them, by the way.
yeah, FYI, Miami Hurricanes. If things keep going the way they're going, you're not getting in the playoffs. Take it from experience. But go ahead, bellyache again. Maybe you should have won one of the games you lost and made it to the ACC title. That then you could have guaranteed your spot.
Yeah, it's simple.
You know?
It's simple math. Win all the games,
Yeah,
and then even if you win all the games, maybe you don't get in.
I do love when they
But
hop
that's
in
another
my
story.
comment section and say things like ACC championships don't matter. The whole thing matters, and I'm like, the championship game matters. I'm like, well, in modern college football, if you want to get to the final game, you kind of have to, one of the steps. A lot of times,
Often is, yes, doing that.
To at least go to your conference championship game. It's helpful.
Ryan, it's your time now. It's your time to shine, to shout out our viewers.
It's a lot of people, but I'm going to do it. We are, of course, welcome Breeze Fry, who's probably on his 8th drink by now. Tomcat, my man.
Number one fan, Breeze Fry, by the way, according
He
to YouTube.
is, and I believe that. Tomcat, as always, I would say Tomcat's like in the top 5 fans.
Ooh, currently, Captain John Black is the number one fan.
Because he donated the most?
According to YouTube. Breeze Fry has been bumped to number 2. Tomcat is currently in the number 3 spot.
Daniel Gorby, as always, always in the chat. But yeah, it's been a good audience tonight. And what I've always liked about our audience, we have a very consistent, same group that we like, that they're all here all the time. Now, one thing I'm a little worried about, Vince. Where's our Rock and Knoll been? Did we do something? Did we hurt his feelings?
I know that Rock and
Is it
Knoll,
because of the cruise?
No, I mean, we've been kind of chastising him about the cruise, but I'm pretty sure he's on his way up to Raleigh. I think he's going to that game. Make sure you wear a poncho to protect yourself from the urine. But yeah, I haven't seen him tonight, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
But as always, thank you guys for watching Garnet and all the people that show up every week. But I think there's something important that I know is very important events that you want to cover.
Yeah, I got a little heads up about a week ago that the marching chiefs were going to be or there was going to be a new endeavor to promote the chiefs starting this week, and that endeavor is titled "Adopt a Chief." Um, and so there's a lot of places to spend your money, your hard-earned dollars. You're doing boosters, you're doing tickets. Occasionally you may commit some money to a coaches club. Sometimes you will donate a super chat to us so you can hear us rant and rave about the teams that we love or the team that we love. But this new endeavor is to really ignite the Chiefs United initiative. And we talked about that a few years ago when it first started. Chiefs United is a movement, a fundraising goal to endow enough money for every marching chief to never have to have an outlay of money to join the group. So every year, when if you make the Chiefs, there's some money that you have to pay to outfit yourself with shoes, shirt, shorts, hat, all those things that come with the uniform. It's not like the football team, Ryan, where everything's just given to them, right? And so, there are 550, 600 people trying out for the Chiefs every year. Roughly 420 make it. So some people get cut. Some people don't make it. But once you know that you've made it, then all of a sudden, your wallet has to open it up because there's some things you have to pay for. Chiefs United, the purpose of that solely and only is to get rid of those out-of-pocket costs for the Chiefs. The goal is $1.5 million for the endowment. They are currently sitting at $550,000. So they are about a third of the way there. And this new Adopt a Chief deal that's exactly what it says. You can adopt the chief. You will get a profile of the chief that you adopt. The cost to adopt, maybe. I'm not sure of all those particulars.
Like Sarah McLachlan?
But the cost to adopt the chief is $2,500 because $2,500 times 420 people in the Chiefs is roughly about $1 million that they're short right now that they're trying to build toward. You can do that in a lump sum. You can do that in payments. You can do that over multiple years if you want to. But think of it this way. Ryan, you've been to many games. People in this chat have been to games. When you go to games and pregame starts and the Chiefs march out on the field and there's a formation there, right? And you can consider you can think of it this way, that you are buying one of those spots on the field in perpetuity. It's not a yearly thing. Okay? It is specifically or it's for all time, because the endowment then will get interest, and that money will go to pay for the Chiefs for their out-of-pocket stuff. So if you're interested in that, go to actually I'll put the link in the chat as soon as I find it, because I should have had that ready, but I don't have it ready. But you can do that, and like I said, you can do it all in one lump sum. You can do it in a payment thing. You can do it over years if you want to. And like we've been saying, the Chiefs are spending a lot of time doing what needs to be done to support the program, to support the university. I think the least we can do is remove any barriers for people to join that group.
One of my dreams is that someday Vince wins the like one of those $900 million Powerballs, like the big ones, and they would never have to worry about it again.
Absolutely.
But it would be called the Vince Ciccarelli Marching Chiefs.
No, I don't need any name branding. I don't need any name. name branding. Literally, if I had the money, they'd already have it.
They're like, and now welcome to the field, the world famous marching Chiefs, brought to you by VC Noles.
Sponsored by Garnet and Old.
Now that wouldn't suck. Yeah, QR code on the screen. Subscribe, like, and subscribe.
If we had the money,
just one time,
if we had the money, they'd already have it.
How much would it cost for us to get the QR code of Garnet and Old up on the board at Doak?
I will look into that. How about that?
Because that would be fun. But everyone would be like, what the hell is Garnet and Old? Is it a funeral home?
Captain John Black. Yeah. Oh, you already did it. Yeah. Gonna need more super chats, people. So
prediction time, Vince.
That's my love post for the Chiefs, and adopt the Chief. It's going to be going on for a little while, but any of you that have the means, help.
Should we make Should we make a Sarah McLachlan type commercial for it? In the arms of, for just $1 a day, you can help the marching Chiefs.
It's the little panning image of this flute player like eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich next to the fence
during summer, during the summer workouts, where it's just they're all sunburnt to hell, right? By the way, Vince, my first girlfriend in high school, 4 years, I was dating this girl. Mm-hmm. She ended up for the last 2 years being the drum major.
Yeah.
I've never seen worse sunburns on a shoulder or back in my life than I did when she would have to go and report for 2 weeks to band camp. And I always asked, Shannon, the sunscreen's a thing and you can reapply. And she would say that this is a mark of pride to show how much work we put in. And I was like, yeah, but it's bubbling. Maybe not the healthiest thing.
Yeah. Sunburn, not a good idea. It's not a mark of pride. It's lack of preparation.
Yeah. And I had to rub the aloe vera on the bubbles, which is not great. Now. But Vince, prediction time. Florida State, NC State. I'm going to take Florida State 35, NC State 21.
Yeah, I'm kind of right in the ballpark. I was going to say 33-21.
So we both predict a Florida State win, which is a good news. Listen, during my live stream last week.
But who knows?
There's a few people that were like, Florida State fans actively rooting for us to lose. And I said, you will never hear me actively root for the Noles to lose. Because even if it means that it would hurry up something I want to happen, it's not worth it. I want Florida State to win every game that they possibly can.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're a real fan if you are actively rooting for your team to lose. Unless you're an NFL fan and you're like one loss away from getting the number one pick in the draft. That's a little different, I feel.
Yeah, I could never root against my team. It doesn't matter what's happening. I can't do it. The kids put in way too much time. They're kids, but they put in way too much time.
Society.
And also I will say, it's not just about the team. It's about the community and the city and the businesses there. And the more the team wins, the more that whole area thrives. So we never got to recruiting tonight. Recruiting is actually going well considering what's going on. And I did want to also say that it's a real shame to hear that Jabril Rawls is done for the year. But if you're interested in some more recruiting stuff, we can talk about that maybe on members only show or something.
Jabril Rawls joins Jabril Peppers on the injured reserve list. All right. It was a fun show, guys. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Garnet and Old Show, brought to you by Captain Black's Fishing and by the Palace Saloon in Tallahassee. A true staple of Tallahassee, of course. As always, guys, every week, 7 o'clock, we're here. So like and subscribe. Vince and I will do a little quick live stream on Saturday, give our take on what happened on the Florida State game, show you a little bit about what's going on in Georgia Southern campus. GATA, right? Get after that ass.
GATA. Get after it.
It's time.
Exactly. Get after those academics.
Oh, that's what it is, right? Yeah. And then, of course, no inside info, no contacts, no problem, Vincent. Take us off with the number one policy of the Garnet and Old Show.
Send Chiefs all the damn time. Go adopt the Chief, people. You can make it happen. Find a way. Maybe get together with some friends of yours and go in on it together. You'd be like a group project.
Yeah, and make sure you
But do
spay and
it.
neuter your pets.
That's right. Go Noles.
Go Noles. See you guys.